Morning. This is Minister Peaceful Poet, and the name of this video will be The Looking Glass. And if you don't know what the looking glass is, don't worry, I'm going to explain that to you. There's been a couple videos that recently came out about the looking glass. Recently, Elizabeth April made a video about it, and this was something that she just recently discovered. She's a young woman, so but this is something that several of us knew about for some time. Elizabeth April is a very talented woman. She has the ability to go out of her body and go to different places, and even places that aren't on Earth. She's very interesting. She's had this talent ever since she was born, apparently. Her father warned her not to tell anybody about it. Excuse me. Warned her not to tell anybody about it because he believed that the government would get a hold of her and use her. But as she got older, she just decided to just let people know about what she can do and share it with others. So she has this uncanny ability to go outside of her body and go to different places and learn different things. And one of her recent videos, she discovered this thing. She didn't know what it was called, or she couldn't remember what it was called. But it was the looking glass. It was the looking glass. And I don't know if we have just one of these items on this earth or there are several. I honestly don't know. But this I do know, that the looking glass that she saw and that we know about is in the hands of the elite. And it came from the extraterrestrials. I'm guessing the Greys, but I don't know that for sure. It could have been the Palladians. I don't know for sure where it actually came from. All I know is it came from the extraterrestrials. And what the looking glass is it's a device that allows you to see the future and to see the past. And now let me explain prophecy to you, because some people will tell you that if a prophesies something and the prophecy does not come true, then that prophet is a false prophet. Well, that's just completely false. And I, I I don't think I really need to explain that to you. I think if you go to the Bible and you look up Jonah, if you're an older person and you use a concordance, just look up Jonah in the concordance. If you're a younger person and you use your computer, just type in your AI search Jonah the Bible, and you'll learn all about it. But Jonah was a prophet, and he would go to the city and he would prophesy as God told him to about how the city was going to be destroyed by God because they were sinful. And so the people would repent and God would change his mind. And and this happened, I think, twice. And then they started laughing at Jonah and calling him a false prophet because his prophecies didn't come true. They didn't come true because they repented and God changed his mind. So God told him once again, go to the city and tell them that they're going to be destroyed. And Jonah refused. He says, I'm not going to go there and tell them that. They don't believe me. They laugh at me. They throw stones at me. And he says, you keep doing this to me. You tell me to tell them to do something. You tell me to tell them that something's going to happen, and then you change your mind. And I look like a fool. So he was swallowed by a fish, and after he was swallowed by a fish, he repented, and the fish puked him up, and he went to the city and warned him. Now, it's probably not a true story. It's probably one of those stories made up to make you understand how God works and stuff like that. And of course, God would never destroy a city. That's the false God. But anyways, nevertheless, the Bible teaches that prophecy does not always come true. And what the Bible in that story tells us that prophecies are meant to tell us, to warn us of things so that we can make changes to change those things. Okay. So I'm telling you this because, oh, you have these people who interpret the prophecies out of the Bible and they think they're so smart. And they say this is going to happen, and this has to happen, and this is the other thing's got to happen, and this other thing's going to happen, so this can happen, that can, etc., etc., etc. And I don't believe a lot of those things in the Bible are going to come true simply because a lot has changed. And that's what was supposed to happen. That was the reason for the prophecies. Okay. Now let's get back to the looking glass. The looking glass gives the elite the ability to see the future. And being able to see the future, they can make changes right now to change the outcome of the future. And this is what they've been doing. They've been doing this for quite some time. I and just and this just isn't based on Elizabeth April, because like I said, we many of us known about this for some time. The first time that I learned about this was a an interview I watched on the Inspire channel 4 years ago uh, with oh shoot, what is his name? I didn't write down his. I took notes, but I didn't write his name down. I do have brain damage. I'm sorry, and I don't remember things very well. What was his name? I can't remember. Anyways, so I watched this interview, and that's how I learned about it. And and so I went ahead and I did a search to find that video again, so I can show it to you. You know, give you a link in this video. And I discovered there's about 15 of them, about 15 different videos between 3 to 4 years ago. So I will share a link to that search so that you can find them. Um, Man, I wish I could remember that guy's name because he's a pretty famous person. I don't know why I can't remember his name. But anyways, so that's what the elites have been doing. They've been doing things different now to change the outcome for tomorrow. And they've been working very hard to make everything the way they want it. But there is one thing that they could not change, and they've tried and they continue to try, but they're not succeeding, and that is the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is coming. If it's not already here, I always believed that when the Great Awakening comes, you know, we're just gonna like wake up in the morning and open up our eyes and like be like, wow, all of a sudden I understand. All of a sudden it makes sense. Oh yeah, I know this person. I understand why, what, where, how, you know. That's how I thought it was going to work. It'd just be like instant, you know. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's happening now and it's happening slowly because some people are waking up more and more, getting two or three, four people every day waking up, changing their point of view, learning more and more. Um, but when the Great Awakening comes, then we will learn about, and we already are, you know, the Epstein files. And it's worse than that, unfortunately. I hate to say that. It's much worse than that. And this has been going on for a long time. I'm 67 years old, and this probably been going on my whole life. And Epstein is just the tip of the iceberg. He isn't the kingpin. He wasn't the kingpin. It was a bigger thing than we even know. And I think the worst part about it is I wrote that down. Um, the adrenochrome, the adrenochrome, adrenochrome. Yeah, I pronounced that right. Adrenochrome is a chemical that your body creates when you are in the fear mode, the flight mode, when you're scared to death. Then your body creates adrenochrome, and there's stories about it. You know, people become real strong and stuff. I could tell you a story. When I was in the Navy, we was I would go to Antarctica every year and during the summertime, and we would leave during the winter, and we would leave a small crew there during the winter. And I had been there 6 times. And well, anyways, um, we had what was called an ice runway. It was literally ice. There was no ground underneath it. The ice in Antarctica was like thick as could be. You know, you can land planes on it. And this ice runway um, is easy to make. You know, you just smooth the ice out and you can land a plane on it real easy. This is where we got most of our cargo from that we needed to survive in Antarctica. And they would keep the fuel in these things that look like water beds, these huge water beds, like um, berms is what they called them. And the fuel shack caught on fire, and it was close to one of those berms. And they were really scared that there'd be a huge explosion, and the ice runway would crack, and then we wouldn't be able to land planes, and we wouldn't be able to get our cargo, and it would just be really bad, really bad. So everybody was really scared. They had to put this fire out. Well, there was this big, huge iron something, big, huge iron piece of junk in the fuel uh, fuel shack, and the fuel chief uh, hollers at this woman. She's I think she was a third class petty officer. Maybe she was a seaman. I'm not sure, but she was kind of low in rank. And he hollers at her, says, "Get that piece of shit out of there." And so she grabs it and she pulls it out of there. And then when it was all said and done, four men tried to move that thing and they couldn't budge it. Everybody's like, "How the hell did she drag that out of there?" So that's an example of adrenochrome. That that chemical that the body creates when you're scared to death. It gives you superpower. Well, it can be created. You can look this up with AI. It can be created by uh, chemical. They can create it. They can create it out of artificially create it with putting some chemicals together. And so if you ask AI about the adrenochrome thing, they'll say it's a conspiracy theory because it can be created from chemicals and stuff. However, what has been going on and may still be going on is they would take these kids and they would scare the hell out of them. Now, the blood from a child, and they've proven this, you can look it up. The blood from a child, if you take a blood from a child and you put it in an older person, that older person will it'll help that older person stay younger longer or live longer. Uh, and they've proven this. So these billionaires who have lots and lots of money, they will buy this blood, and this will, make them feel young, anyways. Maybe look a little younger, maybe, but it'll make them feel young, anyways. But the most expensive blood has adrenochrome in it, because when they take that blood, that makes them feel like Superman or Superwoman. And this is what they have done. I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but this is what they had done: scaring these kids to death and then taking their blood, torturing them. And that's terrible. And of course, so is the ritual torture and stuff. Uh, uh, Torture them so that they can entice demons to appear. A lot of awful, terrible things. They even eat children. It's just awful. Um, don't know if this is still going on, but it probably is. Probably is. Anyways, the Great Awakening is that we discover all this stuff. We discover the enslavement that we are under, and even the Bible describes it that the evil ones will try to hide under rocks and stuff. They'll try to hide themselves because the light will shine upon them. This is the Great Awakening. It's going to happen, and no matter what they can do, no matter what they try to do, they can't stop it. And like I said, it might even be happening now. It may not be happening the way I thought it would happen right away. Maybe it's happening slowly. A few people at a time are waking up to this kind of thing. We just we no longer listen to mainstream media. We no longer listen to our government. We realize the brainwashing, I call it. It's probably not an accurate term, but we realize it and we are aware of it and we ignore it. And this is the Great Awakening. And really, I mean, most of the people in this world, we don't want war. We're against all this crap that's going on. But our governments are going forward with it. And so we got to fight our governments, and that's kind of hard to do because our governments are, you know, uh, people will tell you the rights to the right to have a gun is based on the Constitution believing that one day we may have to go to war with our own government. This is the reason why we have the right to arm ourselves. However, while the forefathers had this forewisdom to put this in the Constitution, um, unfortunately, they didn't have the wherewith to know that our government weaponry would become so powerful that there's no way, there's no way we could beat our government. Our government's just too powerful. If we went to war with our government, we would be crushed, just crushed. But I don't know, maybe something's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping. I didn't want to. I've been inspired, I guess you call it, to make this video for some time, and I've been um, ignoring it and putting it off. I'm kind of tired of making videos, and I'm not writing many poems. It's getting depressing. It is getting depressing. I'm being honest with you. It's getting depressing because it doesn't seem to be changing. I have hopes. I believe, like the last video I made, I told you that I think there's really going to be peace this time. And guess what happened? I was wrong. There was war again. And that's just so frustrating. That's just so frustrating. And now it looks like we're at peace again, but do we believe it? Do we really believe it? Or are we just preparing for more BS? And the NDAA, I guess you all know about the NDAA. We're going to be a part of Israel now. Uh, and that's wrong. That's just so wrong. Uh, that's not what the forefathers wanted. And I'm hoping somebody will take that to the high court, and the high court will say that's unconstitutional, and they'll throw it out. I'm hoping that will happen. Anyways, that's enough of the depressing stuff. That's the looking glass. The looking glass is the machine that the elites have that they can see the future and they can see the past. And the great thing is there's going to be an awakening, and they can't stop it. They've tried and they continue to try, but they can't. Everything they try to do fails. But there's been a lot of changes because of the things that they've been doing. Okay? Been a lot of changes. But that's one thing they can't change. So I guess that's all I got for you this time. Maybe the next time I make a video, I'll have some really good news. We can talk about some really good stuff, and like UFOs and I don't know, ghosts and stuff. I don't know, some stuff that's exciting instead of this war. I'm getting tired of this war. Sure, all of you are too. Anyways, peace and love.